Hi YouTube, welcome to my tier list of every equipment in Phasmophobia and every tier of every equipment. I am going to be telling you what I think the best items are for getting perfect games on difficulties such as Nightmare and higher and Zero Evidence, and I will also be mentioning APOC 3. So, if you're wondering why I like to use tier 2 for certain things, watch this video and you will understand. First, we have our beautiful, lovely tiers over here. Everyone should use this. That is just goated item status. You should be using this item. Why wouldn't you? Goated in some cases. This second tier here is for items that you wouldn't use normally. There really would be no reason to unless you want a specific thing or you're on a specific difficulty like APOC 3. This tier here is just like, okay, it's not horrible, but like you should be using the goated tier instead. The bottom one is just why. It's just why would you use it? There's no reason really to use it. Let's start first from the evidence items. These are the 3 tiers of the EMF reader. The only evidence you can get is EMF 5. This is an EMF reader to show EMF readings. From the ghost interactions, you can also get special ability EMF readings, and there is a difference in the range for each item. For the tier 1 EMF reader, it is a 1.7 meter range. So you have to be pretty close to the item that gets thrown or touched or whatever it is. For the tier 2, it is 2 meters, and for the tier 3, it's 3.5. So the tier 3 has double the range of the tier 1. Let's start off with the tier 1 EMF reader. I am just going to chuck this in. Why? Because there is no reason to really use it. It's stinky. It is hard to see the numbers. The sound also isn't really that loud. And you have to be really close to the item. So, putting that in why, because why would you use it compared to the other two? Tier 2 EMF, you would think that I'll put it in okay, but actually goated in some cases. And there's 2 specific cases that I will tell you about. Case number 1, Ouija board EMF 5 tests. Or if you, for some reason, get lots of interactions at once, more than 3 specifically. The downside to the tier 3 EMF reading is that you can only see 3 readings at once. You have to wait until the first reading is gone to be able to get the readings of the other things that happened. When you're doing a Ouija board EMF 5 test and you're going Marco Polo, any kind of 5% question, and you're trying to do it really fast, if you have the tier 3 EMF reading, you have to wait to see what the EMF reading was of the previous thing. Tier 2 is instant. If you're doing, let's say, probably won't happen unless you have a poltergeist explosion, but if you have 20 interactions at once, and one of those has EMF 5 in it, the tier 2 will immediately do the EMF 5 when the EMF 5 interaction happens. The tier 3, you'll only get 3 of the first interactions, and you have to wait for the rest, the 17, to go up slowly. And if it happens all at once, you might miss it. I use the tier 2 EMF when I'm speedrunning because it is just faster to be able to get the EMF 5s. Also, the other case that I want to mention is if you're someone that stays in the van a lot, or if you're doing multiplayer and you like to watch the ghost room from the van, if you get an EMF 5, it's really, really easy to see because it has a big red light that comes up. So sometimes you could chuck the EMF reader, excuse me, in front of a video camera. And you can watch from the truck to see if that red light goes off. And you could see EMF 5 from the truck outside the map pretty easily. It's kind of hard to see it on the tier 3 because it's numbers on a screen. So, moving on to the tier 3 EMF reader, everyone should be using this. First of all, the range is so much bigger. You don't have to be that close to items. Also, this shows you with an arrow where the EMF reading is. So you can look at it. Even if you didn't hear it, you didn't notice something happened, it will tell you what direction to go to get the EMF reading. And I guess it's good that it shows 3 in the sense that if things happen in different places, it'll show the arrows to 3 different things. And sometimes you could probably be, you know, you could get some zero evidence stuff from it. You could be like, oh, is it twins? It did something over there and over here. Or is it a phantom teleport? The arrow's right on me. Did it teleport to me? So, very simple, very easy. It also, I think shows you the numbers in meters too, but I don't really like the numbers that much. I just look at the arrow and where it's pointing. It's a great item. Nothing much to say about it, except for the only thing is where you can't get the EMF5 immediately. So for speedruns, I use tier 2 to get the evidence as fast as I can, or if I'm doing a Ouija board test. But yeah, that is my EMF reader tier list. Moving on to the spirit boxes. So this is pretty straightforward. Each tier has a different range and a chance to get an answer. Tier 1 spirit box, the range is 3 meters. Tier 2 is 4 meters. Tier 3 is 5 meters. The percentage / chance of getting an answer for tier 1 is 50%. Tier 2 is 60. Tier 3 is 70. So, it's pretty straightforward, y'all. It's pretty straightforward. Because why wouldn't you use the tier 3 that has a larger range and a high response rate? There really is nothing cool like the EMF reader about these two. I'm putting them in Y. Fun fact, I do have a voice line. All of the content creators have voice lines, and mine is an elderly individual. So if you hear that, it's me! Moving on to the writing books that are right here. This is the same thing. The range for the writing books, tier 1 is 3 meters, tier 2 is 4 meters, tier 3 is 5 meters. The chances of getting writing from the ghosts are 51% for the tier 1, 67 for the tier 2, and 76 for the tier 3. So, same thing, tier 1, tier 2. Why would you use it when you have the tier 3? There's no goated in some cases. There's no okay because, yeah. It's just, tier 3 is just built different for Spirit Box and Writing Book. Pretty simple. Moving on to the thermometers. This is tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. The tier 1 is the slowest. It takes a very long time for it to update and show you the actual room temperature. This is going in Y. There's really no goated cases for this. Honorable mention though, this used to be the best thermometer item because it would show the exact temperature at all times. But then they changed it because it was way too powerful, because the tier 2 and tier 3 will show the temperature at the exact moment, but it's plus, for tier 2, it can be plus 3 degrees Celsius, because yes, we use Celsius, okay? Don't even, Tier 3, it will show the temperature plus, it can be plus 2 Celsius. And the speed is slightly faster for the tier 3. And the speed is, meh, it's okay for the tier 2. It's not too much. It's 2.5 seconds, I think, right? So tier 2 is going in okay, because it's not bad. You can use it. Tier 3 is just faster. If you want to get a freezing temperature picture, this is a little tip for you guys. As long as the temperature is below 1.0 Celsius, it will count as freezing. And you can take a picture of it. You do, however, if you're playing in multiplayer, have to be the person that gets the freezing to be able to take a picture. Moving on to dots. This is tier 1, this is tier 2, and this is tier 3. Tier 1, why? It's horrible. You either hold it or you sit it down somewhere. It's a cone shape, very small range, very hard to see. Why would you use this when you have these two over here? Tier 2, I would put an okay, but I'm not going to, because the tier 3 is just way too good. So why would you use this, which is a little circle, you place it on a surface, when you have the tier 3 dots? Everyone should be using tier 3 dots. It is an insanely clear, insanely big range. There's no, like, chances to it. The dots are always a 30% chance, I think, for, like, the ghost state. There's no, it doesn't affect the dots as, like, the other evidences have. For Spirit Box and Writing Book, the chances of getting the evidence is different. But, like, for dots, thermo, I guess thermo is also, the chance is different because of the difference in temperature that it could be. Anyways, tips for tier 3 dots. Place them on the ceiling if you can. It is the absolute #1 best way to do dots. You can also put them on the edges of rooms. I'll insert a video right here. If there's a big fan on the wall like this, and you put it on the ceiling, the fan blade will block the dots like that. See that shadow right there? So what you can do is put it on the side of the room, have it angle like that, and boom. The entire room is covered in dots. The only shadow is this lamp here. Look at that. Beautiful. Because this is a great example. Right above garage, and you stop it when it's facing straight down. It's not bad, but you are missing out on a lot of areas like over here, and the car also kind of has a shadow around it. So, put it at an angle. Put it at an angle that's horizontal to where you want to be looking. And beautiful. Shows this area, shows this area. It doesn't show the back area here. But for this room, that's not bad. If you put the dots at a vertical angle like this, it won't work. So you have to find an area that's horizontal like that. You could also, for rooms like this, you could put it in the doorway like that. Where the doorway is kind of shining through the room here. So if it goes out of the room, you can see it. Not bad, right? Also, someone said, is swinging better or not? I don't think swinging is better. Because the dots will have a higher chance of happening in its ghost room. So if this is the living room ghost room, but the dots is swinging over on this side, when the ghost is in here, you have a chance of missing the dots. So, best thing would be to pause it where it's illuminating the entire ghost room. So when it happens, you'll see it. Also, it's not now noisy that much. It is life-changing. You're welcome. Tier 3 goated. Do not use Tier 1, Tier 2. There's no reason to. Moving on to UV. This is a little bit controversial, I think, but put it up there. I'll explain. Just put it up there. Goated. Tier 1, why? Because, first of all, Tier 3, bigger illumination. It's not bad. I would say it's okay, but actually, I'm gonna put it in goated in some cases, especially for speedrunning. When I'm speedrunning, I use Tier 3 because it shines pretty far and pretty wide, and it's pretty fast to do. However, the Tier 2 takes goated spot. Unless you're speedrunning. First of all, this is not an electronic item, so you could hold it, you could hide with it, you could use it as a light source, and the ghost cannot detect you. Also, insert video here, it illuminates such a large area by just existing in a certain place. Here's a video of me testing out the Tier 2 and Tier 3 and explaining what the differences are. I think it's a Wraith. You have no UV? See, guys? Point proven. Like, it doesn't... Y'all saw how it wasn't showing, right? I've placed it as best as I can to show all 3 of these piles here. Okay, this is the ghost room. Let's see. Oh! So you can see the door and the footstep. That's good. Can you step some more, Ghosty? I want to see the full range of the Tier 3 UV. Okay, but as you can see, it does cut off here. Because it is a cone shape. The cone shape is what makes this not goated. Someone in my comments was saying, if you made the Tier 3 UV like the Tier 3 lantern, where it's a lantern you place down and it illuminates everything, that would be goated. The fact that it's a cone-shaped flashlight just automatically... Oh, hello. It's just, it's a I mean, it does go far, though. That's why it's good for speedruns. Because you can see from afar what the thing is. It's very fast. That's a thing, too. You don't really need to have insane range on most maps, if it's a small map especially. And also, The rugs or the flooring can cover the footsteps like that. See that? That's also a bad thing about leaving the tier 3 somewhere. Because it's always better to have an item that you can leave on the floor and you don't have to physically hold, since you only have 3 item slots. So let me just go get the tier 2 real quick. So we have the ghost in the basement here. Pretty big room, am I right? Boom. Slay. Only 1 footprint though? Oh, it's underneath the table. Look at that. Let's just, okay, shaky, shaky, and we'll leave it boom. Right? I'm doing videos. I'm doing spirit box. Blah, blah, blah. How many pickles? Blah, blah, blah. I'm playing with the train. Yo. Hello, hello. Oh, it stepped in salt. Same thing with the tier 3 though. You have to pick it up and look at it. But in my opinion, that is faster. Hello? That is faster than picking up the tier 3 UV, looking at it, angling it, dropping it down. Right? Picture. Tier 3 UV, you have to hold it, charge it, switch, take picture, or hold it, angle it, drop it. And even if you drop it, sometimes you can't see the footsteps unless you're super close to it. And it's a cone too, so you have to angle. Yeah, I mean, it's just easier. So if you have salt down, you light a tier 2 UV stick and you put it down on the ground, you will see the footsteps all over no matter what. It does get dim after a little bit. I don't know the exact time. Does anyone know the exact time? So you do have to go and take it and shake it, but it's just so useful. You just drop it off somewhere, drop it next to a door, drop it on the ground, drop it next to a window. When something happens, you will probably see it. You don't have to charge it up. It's just showing, take a picture, boom. Tier 2 UV on top. Fun fact, the tier 2 glow stick used to be tier 1 actually, but they changed it to be tier 2 because of how goated it is. Also, if you're doing Apocalypse 3, if you bring the tier 2, it's not an electronic item, so you could have some glowy purpleness to your Apocalypse 3 runs. Overall summary for the UV, because this is a little bit of a discussion that people will have probably in my comment section. Tier 3 is fine, right? It's goated for speedruns 100% because it's so fast and you can see from afar. The problem is that it's a cone shape and you still have to angle it, drop it a certain way if you want to leave it on the ground. You still have to like charge it up and then take a picture. Tier 2 UV, the downside is you have to shake it. But as long as you shake it, it illuminates the area. You don't have to hold it. You don't have to angle anything. You could pick it up and drop it somewhere else if it's somewhere else that's being UV'd. But like it's just so much easier, in my opinion. Moving on to the last evidence item, but also a media item, which is the video camera. So we got tier 1 here, tier 2 here, tier 3 here. I'm gonna put on the screen a difference of what these 3 look like. Boom. So, tier 1 goes in here. First of all, super small. I mean, if you like how green it is, maybe you could keep it, but it's just so hard to see. It's really just, yeah. Tier 2 might be controversial. Everyone should be using this. First of all, this will tie in later when I go to the headcam section. But if you are using a tier 2 headcam, which I think everyone should, the tier 3 camera blocks it and makes a huge shadow on it, especially when you're holding a tripod. If you are using a tier 2 headcam and you hold the video like this, there actually is no shadow. I thought that there was. And as you can see, the screen is humongo. The camera is also humongo. It blocks 1/3 of your screen. Pretty big, pretty humongo, which is great in some cases, like for APOC 3 when you can't really see that well. Tripod, if you bring it in, look at that shadow right there. Lovely big dark square that blocks out all, like, look at how dark that is. Look at the plant right there. Boom. I can't see. So, yeah. The tier 3 camera is way too big, okay? But I'll put it in the goated in some cases section because if you're doing Apocalypse 3, if you can't really see well, the screen does help to be able to see better, but it's just, it's humongous, man. It's so big. Yes, it's clear, but the tier 2, I feel like, is just a great sweet spot. Not too big, clear to see, won't block your head cam. That's it. Pretty simple. All 3 video cameras have the exact same, like, video functions when it comes to taking media, interactions, all that kind of stuff. Orbs is evidence that you get. It will be harder to see, but I think for each camera, it will detect the thing as long as you're recording it automatically, no matter what. This is the tier 2. As you can see, a lot smaller. I can see the top right of my screen. Yippee! With the head cam, holding it, it's like this. I think this is the perfect size. Perfect size to be able to look at stuff. With the tripod on, it looks like this. It's actually smaller. I can see more of my screen. I can actually see the middle of my screen pretty well. And there's no big shadow, and this is what I use all the time. Tier 2, guys. I like this a lot more. I don't like the big screen. I like being able to see the right side of my screen and also not have a big shadow. That is our second tier 3 item. That is goated in some cases, but not up here. There are more. Don't worry. Moving on to the sound recorder. For the sound recorders, this is tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. The range is different. For tier 1, it's 3 meters. For tier 2 and tier 3, it's 5 meters. Tier 3 is the best. Pretty simply put, it shows you the direction where the sound's coming from, and it's really easy to see. You can hear the audio on all 3 recorders before you start recording. I actually didn't think you could. I thought for tier 1 and tier 2, you couldn't hear what the audio was, and only tier 3 you could. But you can. I'm actually gonna put these in okay. Tier 1, tier 2, they're fine. Tier 1, shorter range. Tier 2, same range. No direction, so you kind of have to go and look to see where the ghost is. But the level will go up where the direction is. And you can hear what the audio is, and you can take the recording the same way. Never mind. Tier 1 goes in Y, because the range is 3 meters. I did the same thing for the spirit boxes, too. Spirit boxes, though, have a chance difference, so that also makes it why these are worse. I think tier 2 is okay, because the only difference between tier 2 and tier 3 is the direction. That's it. And hey, there's a cute little ghost on it, so why not? For the photo cameras, there is a delay on every single tier. Tier 1 has a 3-second delay, tier 2 has a 2-second delay, and tier 1 has a 1-second delay after you take a photo to be able to swap items in your inventory. However, if you drop the camera and then pick up whatever it is you want to use, there is no delay at all. It is technically a pro tip. I do this a lot when I'm doing speedruns or Apocalypse 3, where you leave the items on the ground that you're gonna need to use, like sound recorders or videos on a tripod. You do the picture, you drop it, and then you immediately switch to whatever item it is you need. It's the fastest way, no matter what tier you're using. And for that reason, no camera is goated, really, because they all have a delay. I guess the tier 3 is easier to see the screen, but you don't really need to see the screen that well if you're taking a picture of a ghost, or it doesn't really change that much in my opinion. I will put this over here though, because it is the fastest. And it has a nice clicking sound, I guess. However, tier 1, goated in some cases, especially for Apocalypse 3 or any difficulty where the grace period of the hunt is 0, or if you want to be able to hold the camera and not have the ghost know where you are, because that does not count as an electronic item if you're holding it. It only counts as an electronic item after you take a picture. So, If you're doing APOC 3 and you're hiding near the ghost, you have a crucifix range, you don't know if it's gonna hunt inside of it or outside of it, you have a good hiding spot, you're holding the camera, the ghost has a 0-second grace period. If it's not a tier 1 camera and you're holding it, the ghost will know where you are immediately if you're in the range. So, goated in some cases, tier 1. There is a long 3-second delay, but once again, if you throw it down on the ground, you can use anything immediately. So, not that much of a difference. Tier 2, I'm putting it in okay because, yeah. So, tip, if you want to take really fast media, photo camera in hand, sound recorder, video camera, whatever you need on the ground. Picture, throw, use item, no delay. There you go. Moving on to some things that are pretty simple. For example, flashlight. Fight me. Why would you use a flashlight when you have the tier 2 head cam? Fight me. Tell me, please, anyone. There's no use for a flashlight. There really isn't. The tier 2 head cam is more than enough to be able to see. On any map. Anywhere. I mean, okay, the tier 3 flashlight is really hecking bright, and you can see really far with it, but sometimes it's actually pretty bad. It's really hard to see dots if you have the flashlight on. It's really hard to see orbs or see anything, honestly, on a video camera. I could put it in goated in some cases, maybe. I can't really think of any case where it's like super amazing, to be honest. Because if you're doing APOC 3 or hard difficulties or big maps, big maps, maybe. If you can't get the breaker on and you want to see the hallway, like a long hallway, maybe you could chuck it on the floor. And it doesn't really illuminate that much, though, not gonna lie. I'm putting it in Y. It's too bright. The amount of times I've had a tier 3 flashlight in multiplayer that a teammate would chuck on the floor or something, or would be holding in their hand, and I cannot see orbs, I cannot see dots, I can't see anything, is like, yeah. Just get the tier 2 head cam. On the same note, tier 1 head cam. It really is only useful in multiplayer because you can see through it from the truck. Why would you use it, though? Why would you use this when you have the tier 2 head cam, right? It's a flashlight. And that's what video cameras are for seeing from the truck. Tier 3 head cam, goated in some cases, APOC 3. That's about it. Because you cannot use a tier 2 because it's a flashlight. Tier 3 as well is very blurry. You cannot see far with it. However, credits to Flash Force. You can fix this. It might be a bug. I don't know. If you have the tier 3 head cam on, your head, in the truck, look at a monitor, get out of the monitor, blurriness gone. Insane. W Flash Force. Definitely use it for APOC 3 because you can see really well with it. But I don't think the tier 3 is better for normal games on normal maps for normal difficulties. I think the tier 2 head cam is just so useful. So that's that. Another note is that the flashlight. Having a flashlight in your inventory is basically taking up 1 out of your 3 inventory slots, something that just lets you see. It's not an evidence item, it's not a smudge or a protective item. You're wasting an inventory slot, y'all. Tier 2 head cam, flashlights, why would you use it? This is the tier 3 flashlight. Boom. Hi, Bone. So as you can see, it illuminates pretty far. It's very bright. You can leave it on the floor like that. Hello? Okay. Okay. Thank you. I don't need those lights, I guess. Fun fact, you can turn on and off items on the floor like this. You don't have to go pick it up all the time. Here is the tier 2 head cam. It is darker. Yes, it is a lot darker. However, I simply do not believe you need this much light. Right. Like, look at this. Ready? Boom, boom, boom. Versus... I feel like the tier 2 head cam is easier to see, actually. It's less harsh and, yeah. It does not take up inventory slots, so there you go. Credits to Flash Force. Tier 3 head cam. Turn it on. Very blurry, as you can see, the things that are very, very far away. Monitor. Look at it, go out of it. Clear as day. Insane. Moving on to firelights. This is tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Tier 3 is going in. Everyone should use this because, first of all, it does not go out. You can throw it, it doesn't blow out, it doesn't run out. The only time you can't light the tier 3 firelight is when your lighter has no more fluid or no more matches. Tier 1 is going in Y. No point in really choosing it. It goes out super fast. This, however, tier 2, goated in some cases. Fun fact about the tier 1 firelight, tier 2 firelight, and I think all the lighters. Onryos can blow them out within 20 seconds after you light them. That's about it. Tier 2 firelight, however, has a higher chance of being blown out because it is a 66.67 chance per candle. Don't know if that's a bug, but this tier 3 is 66% chance. Tier 2, however, 66 turns into 98 or something. So maybe for speedruns, higher chance of being blown out, faster firelight blown out video and sound recording, maybe. Moving on in tandem to the lighters, actually, hold on. Sanity reduction, if you did not know, if you are within 2 meters, right, of a firelight, your sanity, if you're in a dark room, will not drain as fast as it should. The reduction per tier is tier 1, 33, tier 2, 50, tier 3, 66. So tier 3 has the highest sanity reduction rate. So if you have it on and the lights are off, it has the highest sanity reduction rate. Which means your sanity won't drain as fast by 66% chance. I can't do math. It's something like that. Anyways, moving on to lighters. This goes up here because it lasts the longest. It has the longest fluid. I think it's 10 minutes if you hold it on continuously. Tier 2, why would you use it? That's less time. Tier 1, why would you use it? It goes out in 10 seconds. Fun fact, though, about the Onryos again. The Onryo is the only ghost that can blow out a tier 1 lighter because it goes out in 10 seconds and they can blow it out within 20. And no other ghost can. That's it. Moving on to crucifixes. There is a correlation between candles for the tier 1. The ranges are different. Tier 1 is 3 meters, tier 2 is 4, tier 3 is 5. The reason why the tier 1 is fun for Onryos is because Onryos cannot hunt within 4 meters of any firelight / candle. Since the crucifix range is 3 meters, you can put a firelight on a tier 1 crucifix, and if the crucifix gets used, it cannot be an Onryo. However, it's only one use. The range is so small. Why would you use it? Fun fact, though. Tier 2, why would you use it? Actually, goated in some cases. If you want to kill your teammates by using a cursed item. This is the crucifix that you need to have. Because the tier 3 crucifix can prevent cursed hunts. If you have a music box, right? And your teammates are in the ghost room looking for evidence, and you're like, I want to get back at them for whatever they did to me with the tarot cards, or whatever it is. You could use a music box. You can make it go, You can summon the ghost and have it hunt if you put the music box down where the ghost is, or you can throw it and have it hunt immediately. If there is a tier 3 crucifix, if the ghost is within the range, when you're using a cursed item, it will use both charges that the tier 3 has, and it will stop the hunt. So, you can do a summoning circle with the tier 3 crucifix. You can light it up, the ghost will appear, take photo, take video, do salt test, do motion sensor, look for spirit box, do UV. If you have 2 charges on the tier 3 crucifix, it will use the crucifix and it cannot hunt. If the crucifix tier 3 has been used once, it cannot stop cursed hunts. Tier 2 has 2 charges as well, but it cannot stop cursed hunts, so goated in some cases, I guess. Moving on to Salt. This is Tier 1, this is Tier 2, this is Tier 3. Tier 1, why would you use it? It's a small, tiny circle. You only have 2 per bottle. Yeah. That's it. Tier 2 is a long line. So it perfectly covers most doorways, most hallways. Also, it's pink. I personally think that everyone should be using Tier 2. The reason why I do not put Tier 3 in this category, and I'm putting it in goated in some cases, is because the Tier 3 Salt, it slows the ghost down when the ghost walks through it. That's why it's great for APOC 3. It could save your life. Because fast ghost, step in Salt, slow down a little bit. Maybe it would help you run away or smudge, whatever it is. The bad thing that I don't like about Tier 3 Salt in regular games that aren't super high difficulties like Apocalypse 3 or 150% Speed Ghost, it makes the ghost go back to its last, like, waypoint or something when the ghost steps in it and it's not like a hunt or a ghost event. I guess ghost events count too, huh? I don't want the ghost to go away when it steps in the Salt. I want it to stay where it is. I want to do Spirit Box. I want to, like, be where the ghost is. Tier 3, if it's roaming and it steps through the Salt, it's going to go back. So it's not great for getting evidence, in my opinion, and I don't like that function. But it is good for slowing the ghost down when the ghost is really fast. So it kind of is a preference, I guess, but this is my rating. Hi guys, part 2, different day, continuing on. All right, we are going to start off with the sanity pills. This is pretty self-explanatory because these two, the Tier 1 and the Tier 2, both raise your sanity by taking it. Same amount for all tiers. The speed is different though. This one takes a longer time. Tier 2 takes less longer time. However, Tier 3, on top of raising your sanity and doing it faster than the other tiers, gives you a sprint boost. So, you can take it, and then you're able to sprint for a lot longer. For like a little bit though. But it's great for getting away from ghosts. You could run away from ghosts with it. You could, use it to loop. It's amazing. So everyone should use Tier 3 because of that extra boost you get. And these two, why would you use it when you have Tier 3? Moving on to sound sensors. A lot of people don't really use this item. I do. I like to just put it in the map because you can basically hear anything from the truck. If you're in multiplayer, it's super helpful because you can hear when the ghost is hunting. You can hear what the ghost speed is as well. You can also hear things like ghost riding. You cannot hear EMF readings though. EMF readings and I think maybe Spirit Box. Maybe you can hear Spirit Box. It's just a way to be able to hear what's going on in the map. So I personally just drop it down because why not? Tier 1, smaller range. Tier 2, smaller range. Tier 3, largest range. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't think the sound quality is different, and there's no difference in sounds you can hear, I'm pretty sure. So Tier 3 on most small maps, if you put it in the middle of the map, and then you make it larger on the screen, it covers the entire place basically. So try it out if you don't use sound sensors, and yeah, Tier 3, biggest range, pretty simple. For the tripods, this is Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Super simple as well. Boom, boom. Tier 1, Tier 2 can both get knocked over by the ghost. So if you have a video camera on it, if you're looking at dots, the ghost can knock it over, and you can be stuck in the truck staring at a wall or something. Tier 1 can get knocked over. Tier 2 can get knocked over, but it can also move around the video camera from the truck. Tier 3, it can move around, and it can't get knocked over. The ghost cannot knock over the video camera and destroy your view of whatever you're looking at. Also, even though it can't get knocked over, you can still get a video of item thrown if the ghost tries to knock it over. So, Tier 3, you should use it. Yeah, pretty simple. Tier 3 is a little bit taller though, I think. So if you don't like tall tripods, but it doesn't get knocked over. That's the best thing about it. So yeah, pretty simple. Moving on. Motion sensors. This is tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Why would you use tier 1? First of all, it makes no noise. It only makes a little flashing light sound, and it's only one beam. Horrible. And if a player walks through it, it'll go off. Same with tier 2. It will make a sound and a light. If you did not know, you can press it and it becomes from one beam to 2 cones. So you can see which direction the ghost moves in. But if your teammates walk through it, it does trigger. So if you're in solo, it's not that bad. However, it's going to be in the Y category because the tier 3 is just goated. So let me show you in-game real quick to explain what you can do with the tier 3 motion sensor. These are the tier 3 motion sensors. If you take it and you place it down, you can see its range. It's a big circle. The great thing about this, first of all, is that even if you walk into it, it does not trigger. Or your teammates. So it only triggers for the ghost. So you can do fun things like place it down all over and try to see where the ghost is. If you do this, it will go off if the ghost is in it. Okay, I heard something get thrown. Let's see. Dining room? I usually don't use this to find the ghost room, but it's great for checking if the ghost is still there or not. Because if you place it down, right, and the ghost is anywhere near that line, it will trigger. So it's not only a motion sensor for like seeing where the ghost goes, it's also a portable ghost tracker, basically. Also, hello, bone. What's also great about the tier 3 is that you can place it anywhere. You don't need a wall. And also the tier 1, tier 2, you can place it on the floor, but it doesn't really cover that much. Like you, especially in really big ghost rooms, like high school or whatever, where it's a huge room and you don't really have a wall to place the motion sensor on. Look at how big that is. It's crazy. I'll show you guys what it looks like on the truck. I also like that you can place the outer rim right on the doorway like that. So if you want to see if it's roaming or not, place it right outside the door. Because if it triggers, you know it left the room. This is what it looks like. It's a big circle. On the map, it'll become green, so you don't know which direction the ghost went on the map, which is kind of stinky, I guess. But it's just so useful. And that's why also, if you put the motion sensor on the outside, right outside the doorway, even if you can't see which direction the ghost went in, you can still check to see if it's roaming or leaving its room, if that makes sense. All right, moving on. We have only 2 items left, guys. The most controversial item, smudge sticks. We're saving it for last. Parabolic mic, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Super simple as well. Tier 1, burn it to the ground. Why? Why is this an item? Yes, you can hear the ghosts through it, but it's literally, I think, the same exact distance that the player can hear, which is 20 meters. Right, guys? Tier 2, I would put an okay. However, the tier 3 is too goated, so it's going in Y. You can hear further. It's great. You know, it works as a paramic. But tier 3, first of all, you can hear 1 floor above and 1 floor down. There's also a distance on the paramic, so you can see exactly how many meters the ghost is from you. It's great for miling tests. It's amazing. Nothing beats it, really. If you don't know what the miling test is, if you see the ghost at 15 to 20 meters on the line, and you turn off the paramic and you can hear its footsteps, it's not a miling. Very simply put. All right, Are we ready for the most controversial smudge tier list? The most controversial items. The smudge sticks. Tier 1 is going to be going in... goated in some cases. Especially for fast ghosts, aka Apocalypse 3 or 150% ghost speed. Especially when you are also slow. Because Tier 1 smudge, when you use it, it makes the ghost go back to its normal speed without line of sight speed up. And when the ghost is fast, or on a fast setting, it makes that the ghost goes away from your smudge location faster. It goes further than the other two smudges. Let me explain real quick. So for the Tier 1 smudge, right? Let's say the ghosty is coming from afar. Really heckin' fast. I'm over here. Tier 1 smudge, fast speed, it'll go anywhere at a fast speed. And the distance will be a lot further away. No matter where it goes, really. With the Tier 1 smudge, hello, Granny. Let's say I'm looping it. Looping is great. Looping is super easy. I do have videos on this in the short form. Okay, I see an Obake shapeshift, right? I know it's an Obake smudge. Oh my god, I thought I went downstairs. One more time. It literally left me. I did not even move. And the ghost went somewhere that broke on a sight. That is the amazing part about it. I'll show you guys what it looks like to go and hide with the Tier 1. The tricky thing is, though, that since the ghost keeps its speed, not keeps its speed, but it becomes non-line of sight speed, if I smudge it, and it goes in the same direction as me, it could be fast enough to keep up with me. But as you can see, I had a pretty easy time hiding because it kind of like went over here-ish. And all I had to do was go behind this wall right here to go hide. I personally do not use Tier 1 for Apocalypse 3 though, because I think the Tier 2 smudge is something that everyone should be using. Tier 2 smudge is goated. For the Tier 2 smudge, it slows down the ghost while it is effective. It's great to be able to tell how long the smudge is lasting. I use this for figuring out Mororis, but also Galus. The new ghost, the smudge can last for 4 seconds if it's enraged, and then 6 seconds if it's not enraged. So, on top of that, it's a great audio indicator to know how long you're safe for, because the ghost becomes slower, and from its footsteps only, you can tell how long it's blind for. I use Tier 2 for everything, even for Apocalypse 3, even though maybe I shouldn't use it for Apocalypse 3. But I do like it because since the ghost is slowed down, it's easy to take a picture of it or media of it. It gives you some time to do something and then run away. Same as Tier 1 though, it will go a certain distance from you. Apparently it's random. So when it comes at you and you smudge it, it'll go in whatever direction it wants to. It'll be a little bit slow, but it will still go away from you. So you can then distance yourself from the ghost. 3D view. Let's say the ghost is over here. Let's say I am over here. It's coming at me. Smudge it. The range, by the way, is different per tier. The Tier 3 smudge has the largest range, but I don't really think that matters because most of the time, when I smudge, I throw the smudge towards the ghost. So you can actually smudge from pretty far away if you do that. And I'll show you that later. Ghost comes here. I smudge it. Let's say it wanders over here. It's still gonna wander somewhere away, right? And then I can either go this way, or I can go the way that the ghost came. Sometimes if you're not careful, yes, the ghost, when you smudge it, can go the same direction that you're going in. So if it comes over here and I smudge it and I want to go this way and I just blindly move, but the ghost also comes this way. The other thing about the tier 2 smudge is same as tier 1. It's very easy to see visually when you've used it. It's also very easy to see once one's been used. Which is the thing I don't like about the tier 3. So, this is the tier 2 smudge. Gonna make it hunt real quick. Oh, hi, Raiju. Damn, those heartbeats. Okay. We are looping a Raiju right now. It's getting faster. All right. I know it's a Raiju. I want to go hide now. But as you can see, even though I failed the picture, not bad. It slows down. It went to go hide upstairs. I'll come back out, maybe. Oh, and it's done. You see, as it slowed, I did have time to take a picture of a voodoo doll. Right. But also, it went, over here, I think. It went this way, so all I had to do was go boom, 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 and the ghost couldn't see me, even if the smudge timer ran out. So I was pretty safe. Let's do one more. I'll show you Raiju speed real quick with the head cam on. Raijus are faster, near electronics. It does stay the same speed though. So, boom. I'm not the greatest at taking pictures, not gonna lie. Okay. But as you could see, there was time to, you know? I'm not doing a great job at this. You could also... No, I'm dead. Oh, I'm fine. Even though I missed it all, you guys can see how it is possible to take pictures while it's slowed down. Am I right? Right? Okay, moving on. Tier 3 smudge. The worst thing about this tier is that when you use it, fast ghost, normal ghost, whatever kind of ghost speed it is, dun 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 dun. You use it, it stops. It stays right there. The range for the tier 3 is bigger than the other tiers. 5 meters, okay. So it's 1 meter more than the tier 2. But as I said earlier, if you throw it, it doesn't really matter. So let's put it 1 more meter back here. It's about 3 meters, right? 4, 5. Let's say you smudge it here, right? The ghost freezes in place, okay? What do you do after this? Since the ghost stays here, you have to move away from the ghost. Since, like the tier 1 and tier 2, where it makes the ghost go somewhere else from you, the ghost is stuck there. So it's solely up to you and your player speed to be able to distance yourself, break line of sight, whatever it is. The worst thing about this is if you don't have good positioning and you get caught in an open area, even with 5 seconds, especially on big maps, especially on game modes where you are slow, or even if the ghost is fast, if you don't have sprint stamina, if you're not in a good position and you can't break on a sight immediately, once this timer is over, if you haven't ran as far as like you need to, let's say that the ghost is right here, okay? On this hallway here, and I'm all the way in the middle, maybe. Horrible place to be, right? And I smudge it. As soon as I see it over here, boom. My little chibi girly now has to go all the way back over there to break line of sight. Or I have to go through the ghost. Horrible, right? And if you play Phasmo, you know that our characters do not have that much stamina. We're pretty slow. Another bad thing about it is that the ghost let's say you've been looping it, right? You can't really loop around the benches here, but let's say we're looping it around this bench here, okay? We're looping it, we're looping it. Uh-oh. I messed up my loop, or maybe I should go somewhere else. I want to leave this loop spot. And you smudge it. But you don't smudge it near the place that is the furthest from let me change the picture real quick. Let's say you're looping around the table here, okay? And let's say that the ghost double backed on you. Oh no, I gotta smudge it. If I'm over here, and I smudge it, like, here, I now have to run through the ghost and go away. Right? And let's say I was looping it. I have no more sprint left. Now I have to go and walk. Because I can't go this way. I mean, you could hide over here, but the ghost will probably see you. I have to now, like, go through it, you know? If the positioning isn't good. And you're not going to get that far, really. It's horrible for looping. It's also horrible in the chance that you are hiding somewhere, right? Let's say right here. It's a great hiding spot, I will say. But if the ghost, for some reason, wanders over here, and you smudge it using a tier 3, guess what, girly? The ghost is right here. And you're stuck in that hiding spot. And you have to pray that when the tier 3 smudge runs out, it doesn't see you again. Or you have to run out of the hiding spot through the ghost and go somewhere else. You know? Because with the tier 1 and tier 2, if you're hiding somewhere and you use the smudge, tier 1, tier 2, the ghost will, like, most of the time go away from you. And you can just stay there. And you're not really in trouble. Any other things, guys? Any other questions? The last thing I have to talk about is how it's hard to tell when it's being used or when it's been used. For the tier 2 smudge, when you use it, the animation is very obvious, right? You know when you've smudged when you use it. And once it's gone, very obvious difference. The same goes to the tier 1 smudge. It's really easy to tell when it's being used and when it's been used. Tier 3, however, I'm smudging right now. This is what it looks like. So it's kind of hard to see exactly when you started smudging. And guess what? The smoke lasts longer as too, so it might block your vision while you're in the dark or whatever. Once it's been used, kind of hard to tell the difference. Like, as you can see, there's a slight difference, but in the moment, it's a little bit hard to tell. Especially in the dark, yeah. Especially when you have no lights on, when you're fearing for your life. Oh, you're crawling! Alright. I want to hide in the refrigerator, right? Oh my god, I smudged. I have to run through the ghost! Oh, I'm not gonna make it! I made it. You see how you have, like, no time, almost, to do anything? Like, take a picture if you wanted to. If, perchance, the ghost comes near you, and you're in a hiding spot, GG's! Or not, if you're lucky. That is why this smudge is just, like, way too much for its own good. Like, you have to work to make it work. Alright? Hallways are horrible for tier 3 smudges. Oh no, the ghost is coming to me. Did I pick up a used smudge? Did I pick up a used smudge? That is not on purpose. That is not on purpose, but I swear the tier 3 is stinky like that. Hello? Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned some new tips and tricks from some items. If you disagree with me, let me know. I would love to learn about really cool ways to use certain items. In this video alone, I learned about the candles, actually. The tier 2 candle being almost instantly blown out could be amazing for speedruns and 0 evidence, 0 sanity to rule out shades or to get media of it. But Let me know what your thoughts are. Hope you enjoyed. More tier list videos coming soon. So, play us over there. Subscribe if you're not already. And I'll see you soon. Bye!